What's up, you guys? I'm here. I wanted to answer a couple questions I got on Facebook. Someone said, I hope this question isn't too terribly hot or frightening. Has anyone ever called you off of a text message and told you that if you ever effing text them again, they would hunt you down and kill you and your whole family? And in a tone of voice that you took them seriously? Could use some advice. Yeah, man. I mean, people have said that to me before, but I mean, I'm still here. They didn't, like, my family's still here too. So, um, a lot of that is just cap. Like, can you imagine if you came up with some psychopathic plan to go and commit like 5, 6 homicides to someone you don't know because they like cold called you or sent you a text message? Uh, How do you feel? How do investors feel about buying rentals where the tenant is under the eviction process due to the moratorium? Are you guys willing to buy and hold until the moratorium ends? Yeah, no, people are still buying properties right now, even if you can't evict the tenants, even if the tenants aren't paying. People are still buying. It has to be priced right. You have to have the right terms. It has to be worked out the seller as far as like security deposits, leases, and rent being transferred, if there is any to transfer, if they're not behind. Once you have a house under contract, how do you cloud the title? City hall or attorney? My question is why do you need to cloud the title? Like, don't do that unless you're gonna like 100% buy it yourself, or you 100% have a buyer ready to go. Like, think about it. What you're doing is putting a lien on the property, so they cannot sell it to anybody but you. And then if you can't perform, you can't find a buyer, if you didn't even really intend or have the ability to close yourself, like how would that make you look in a court of law? Again, I talk about this all the time. This is something that has been invented by the gurus about clouding title on properties so sellers can't go around you, or any, other buyers can't go around you. I think it's fucking ridiculous. You just don't need to. Like, build a good relationship, build rapport with your seller, have a good relationship with them, have some trust with them, and you won't have to worry about this. I don't worry about, not with all sellers, but the majority of them that I build good rapport with, I have common ground with, and I have a certain level of understanding. I don't worry about them going around me or trying to sell it to someone else. I've had sellers that I'm so cool with, they tell me up front, hey, I got other people calling me. I told them no. I've had sellers that are loyal to me, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about how you do it. But again, like, there's people out here teaching to do this stuff. So, having trouble finding homeowners' numbers. Any help? Have you ever heard of skip tracing? TruePeopleSearch.com is free. Propstream, batch skip tracing. What's your hottest Propstream filters? This is a good question. I think definitely like vacant, out of state owner, preferably. Um, Liens, you can even get pretty granular and you can look for child support liens, utility liens, stuff like that. Pretty much any combination of those. And then if you want, you can even add, like, you don't want anything built after the year 1999. We want older stuff that needs renovations. 20 years of ownership from the seller. We only want sellers that have equity, that have owned the property for a long time. Someone said, what are the best tools you use for cold calling? I use Dialpad for inbound caller ID, and just as an app, you can text off it. Mojo for triple dialer, of course. Propstream to pull the list. And that's it. Hey guys, how can I negotiate an earnest money deposit? I offered an EMD of $10, but the seller wants $2,000. I'm willing to offer $1,000, But do I get this money back, and from whom? Also, can a cash buyer put up the EMD? I'm new, so go easy on me. Yeah, and I can't blame you because everybody told you that $10 earnest money, oh, that's no big deal. $10, I do it all the time. It's completely fair. I don't see anything wrong with that. They want 2,000. That's so much. How do they even know what an earnest money deposit is? Oh, well, like when people get upset that sellers are informed and they can make decisions for themselves and they're not gonna believe your lies. They think it's funny. They get upset with that. So how can you negotiate the EMD? Um, you just have to be honest and say, listen, like we make offers on a lot of properties. We have a lot of deals under contract right now. So we try to have as the least amount of money as possible just floating around out in the open for so long. You can say typically, the max that we'll put down is like 2,500 or 5,000, and you can try to get somewhere below that. But um, I made a video about this. You structure in your purchase and sale agreements that the earnest money will be deposited to the title company, not the seller, before the end of your inspection period. So what you do is during your inspection period, you find your buyer, and then your buyer will put down the deposit for you. And you're not gonna when you get and when you have a buyer sign an assignment contract and drop a deposit, they better not be putting down any less than 2 to 3,000 anyway. So that's standard for the buyer. So you just have them put it down, and that's an extremely easy way of doing it. I don't see the point of putting down a $10 earnest money deposit. I think it's bad. Just like I said in that other video, there's plenty of ways around it. Just being honest. Most accurate skip tracing that isn't batch. I don't think there is a such thing as accurate skip tracing. Honestly, if someone has accurate skip tracing, let me know, because this shit is a complete. It's ridiculous. These skip tracing softwares. I need to make a whole video on that, but I'll start screaming. Like I'll go on a rant about the skip tracing. Here's another good one. When looking for a title company, do I just call and ask if they do assignments, or what else should I ask for? Yeah, you should call them and ask them if they're familiar with assignments, if they know what they are, if they've done them before. Ask them if they're familiar with double closings. Ask them how many transactions they usually do a week, how many they have going on. Do they work with wholesalers? But the best way is really to really not even call them. I mean, you could, but just ask around in your market and see who's doing deals and where they use. With anything in life, guys, referrals is going to be the best way to go. If someone had a good experience with a company or whatever, and they recommend them to you, that's the best thing. And then